how it feels to start a feature film. So I just started my first feature film. I've always wanted to do a feature film. I've always aspired to be a writer, director, and I made a lot of short films, probably way too many short films. But if I'm honest, I learned just everything I wanted to learn by making them. Could I have done it faster? Yes, I could have learned everything I needed to learn faster. And I'll probably share that bit of that in this video. I've shared it before, but how does it feel though? Honestly, just complete pure chaos, uncertainty. And I know though that is how it should feel. You should not have any clue what is going to happen. You know, I pray to God that everything works out in the end, but I think your job is to embrace the uncertainty that, you know, you don't have all the answers. You're not going to have control of everything. You're not going to know, you know, whether it's going to all work out in the end. Only God does. And that is something that I've always struggled, and that's why it's taken me so long to make a feature film is, you know, I like control. I like certainty. I like overthinking everything into oblivion just to figure out, like, am I going to make a mistake? Because I'm deathly afraid of making mistakes, which I make a lot of mistakes because I often overthink things and make mistakes because I overthink things. You see what I'm saying? That's the kind of person I am, dude. And I reread a year's worth of journal entries yesterday, and I just thought to God, why do you put up with me? Why do you? It's probably the funniest thing if somebody's overhearing this. God is, but you know, why do you put up with me? Because I clearly overthink everything and then cause myself a bunch of problems, and you know, now I'm just at a place of like, let's not try to overthink everything. Let's just focus on shutting the hell up and doing my job because no one cares. You know, let's figure out what's the next step that I need to do. Now, if I were to kind of unpack my brain real quick and say, what is the next step right now? Well, I'm constantly looking for other locations right now. Still casting certain people, auditioning people, finding that there's roadblocks. People didn't land the audition the way I had hoped, or, you know, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I give them the best shot at this, or, you know, who's the right person for this or that. You know what it is that you have to do, and it's everything that you do kind of feels like you're going out on a limb, and you're figuring out, oh, you know, I'm doing all this work and there's no guarantee, but that's the nature of faith. I had a friend of mine who was like, why would I do all this work for the possibility of a paycheck? You know, God, you know, why can't you just wave that paycheck in my face just to make me work a little harder and remind me, and I'll get really excited and I'll be like, no, you know, I look back at, you know, last 10, 15 years and I realize, well, I always wanted to get to this point. I didn't know how to get to this point to even begin with, of making a film, you know, that is written this way. Like, the writing is something that I'm pretty excited about. Like, it really resonates with people, and that's not always been the case. Like, I've written 400-page steaming piles of garbage that, you know, once I burn them, and but once you hold on, gotta figure out, am I going the right way? I think I came from that way. If this video doesn't get out, you know I never made it. But well, if it does, you know I made it. I'm going this way. Wish me luck. You know, I look back at, you know, over a decade of trying to get to the point where I'm at now, and just feeling disillusioned or uncertain, and now I'm at the place I wanted to be, but I'm like, I want to be done the film. I am living the dream where I'm getting to make the film that I always wanted to make, and I get to see how that goes down. But it's, there's it's just this place of mystery. I love it when you end up in this place of mystery where you are. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that I'm just going to keep working at it. Persevere when pushed. Do my job. Keep showing up. Embrace the uncertainty. Live in the unknown relationship to Christ. You do all that, you'll be fine. But it is a place of just complete mystery. You don't know whether it's going to all fall apart, whether it's going to work. Yeah, fine. And it's realizing though that's actually like a product of OCD for me. Like I learned from my last partner that I have OCD, and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for her teaching me, because and she got me into therapy, and I got to a place where now I understand how my brain works, and I'm realizing that there's a voice that I've always heard in my head that tells me, it tells me, you should go check that you parked your car a million times, or all this stuff. And it's really confusing, and it's disturbing, and it's like, why does this keep coming up? I mean, it's led me to be a great artist. I'm not gonna lie. I feel, or if I don't toot my own horn, it's led me to be up at a place in my art that I like. Let's just put it that way. And I don't know though. I know that it's made me realize though that viewing it as a voice that I shouldn't be listening to, or there's times where I shouldn't be listening to it, where it's unproductive. It's helped me get to a place where I realize, the thing that's kept me from doing the things that are important in life, starting relationships, starting feature films, starting anything, starting a relationship with God, coming back to Christ, learning to trust Him. It's all these things that have made me struggle in life. It's this listening to the wrong voice and not knowing the difference. It's learning that this voice, this fear of the unknown, of uncertainty, that's all it is. It's not a fire that needs to be put out. It is a smoke alarm. And I was talking to somebody today, they were saying, you kind of have to view business as a video game. Yeah, you're putting all your money on the line. You're playing, you're not gambling, but you're literally playing with your own money, and putting it up for risk, and you're dealing with a lot of things that you're risking and leveraging, and you kind of have to just dissociate yourself from it and view it as a video game, and view it as like, okay, we're on this rock hurtling through space. You ever go on a plane? You ever just look, I heard somebody put it this way, it's like you ever look down from a plane at all these people just living their life and doing their own thing. It puts things into perspective. And going back to like the video game analogy, it's like, yeah, you've got all these things going on, all these things, tasks you got to do, and it's just taking a leap of faith with each task. You're going out on a limb, on a branch, to do each thing and saying, all right, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I have to get this done, I have to work on this, with no guarantee of reward or that it's all going to pay off. But, from my experience, a lot of times it does, if you don't give up. And so I'm just going to go on a leap of faith with that's what I'm doing. And granted, me talking about this right now is not me shutting the hell up and doing the work, doing my job. I'm doing my job by making these videos, I think, but no, it's me talking about it is just me overthinking it and just, getting into the weeds of possibilities that may or may not unfold, and that becomes dangerous. But to come back to, this is me answering the question of like, how do I feel right now starting my first feature film as someone who's an overthinker? Maybe that's the title of the video. Starting my first feature film as an overthinker. I like that. Maybe if I remember that. It's just knowing that, yeah, you're not going to be in control of it. Everything's going to unfold, but you can pray, you can persevere when pushed, and you can keep showing up, and you can embrace the uncertainty and live in a relationship with Christ. Those are the things you can do. Those are the things you can control. And it's so funny. I look back, I look back at my time, listening and reading books about Stoicism and thinking, don't worry about things that are outside your control. Well, you know what? The only thing that is the things that are within your control is prayer. Things that are within your control is showing up, persevering when pushed, embracing uncertainty. It's doing all these things. There are things that you can control, but the Stoics don't actually, they don't talk about that because they didn't have that then. They didn't know about these things. So it's kind of funny. I've come to, I used to go to sleep every night listening to meditations by Marcus Aurelius to soothe my soul. I no longer even touch those books because I feel like I'm grateful for them, but I don't need them. I don't need those philosophies in my heads anymore. I don't need those philosophies in my head anymore. I just need one book. You know what that is. But to come back to what I would have done to get all the knowledge I needed from short films to do my first feature sooner is I would have done the 4 rules. I'm not sure the order I want to go about them. I guess the 4 rules are no nihilistic films or films about darkness winning for the sake of being cool. The second rule is make films that are original, no sequels, remakes, no cheesy horror films, no, hollow comedies, make films that are you're passionate about, make the world a better place, and then make films that honor God and spread His kingdom. And these rules, I've learned, if you apply each of them, they're like a leverage. They're the ultimate leverage in mastery and learning your craft because they make you care the most. If you are making a film that is nihilistic, you're not going to care as much. If you're making a film that is just something really positive that you want to put out into the world, you're going to be able to ride that energy in yourself as you make the film. And you're going to learn a lot more. You're going to go to more lengths for the film, and you're going to progress in your craft way further, way faster. If you make things that aren't original and you don't spend the time to make something original and unique to you, and that you're going to miss out on the energy that would drive you from that. If you're doing something you think is lightning in a bottle, it's unique. Oh, it's going to propel you, dude. And that's going to help you learn a lot of things that, would be challenging to you, and not as interesting to you if you're just making something to pass the time or to make a film for the sake of making a film. If you're making a film that you're not passionate about, you're killing your soul slowly. I've experienced that. You're selling your soul, you're going down a dark road, and you're not going to know it for 5 years like me. If you're making a film that doesn't honor God, oh, you better be prepared and have a lightning-proof jacket on. And I say that because I didn't realize it. I look back several years ago, I made a film that I made stuff that wasn't really honoring to God, and oh boy, dude. Yeah, none of it worked out. It cost me a lot of time and money. I'm glad. Now, did he do that? I don't know. I don't think so. But he wasn't with me. And this is already hard enough without him. So, you want him with you. You want all the energy that you could have, the positive energy you could have on your side in the process. So why go without it? So is it suck that I spent over 10 years trying to get to this point where I know all these things before going into my first feature? I would regret going into my first feature if I hadn't learned these things. Even if I spent 10, 20, 30 years to learn these things, I would rather make my first feature film with these rules in mind, knowing the importance of them, and having her learn the hard reality of all of those rules, than to start a feature film sooner, knowing nothing of it. But if I could have learned all those things early on, there was a lot of things with lighting and all this stuff that I didn't need to know. Like, I feel like I'm in some ways overkill, in some ways not, because I haven't done a feature film. There's things about me that are underprepared, but I'm overprepared in other things. It's kind of like a guy who just works out his arms and not his legs at the gym all the time. It's not very flattering. That's me right now, as I am walking down the mountain, or not a mountain, but it's whatever it is, I don't know. But yeah, I wish I learned those things. I'm glad I do, and they taught me to be ready, to embrace the uncertainty, to live in the unknown in relationship to Christ, to honor God with my work, to it was beautiful. To make films I'm passionate about, nothing less. Make films that are original, nothing less. And then no more nihilistic films. So I hope, and make them positive. I hope this was helpful for you guys in some way. Appreciate you going on this journey with me, and I'll keep you updated as I go. And yeah. Prayers that you're able to start your first feature film if that's something that matters to you, or maybe there's some big project, write in the comments some big project that matters to you that is a lot of uncertainty, that you could use some encouragement with from other people in the comments, including myself, and people will get around to helping you out with that. I appreciate you being here with us, and I'll catch you next time. Later. Bye.